right, we'll open the regular city council meeting at 6 p.m. February 17th at Clearlake City Hall Council Chambers at 14050 Olympic Drive, Clearlake, California. Roll call, please. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Claffey?
Here.
Councilmember Kramer?
Here.
Councilmember Overton?
Here.
Vice Mayor Purdock?
Here.
Mayor Slutin?
Here. The Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Kramer, would you do the honors?
The honor to.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Mayor Purdock.
Absolutely. Our Father in heaven, we call upon you to once again join with us and help lead and guide us in making good decisions for the city. We ask for your Spirit to be with us. We ask for you to join in trying to pull our country and our community back together, that we can support and love one another as you have directed us to do. We ask for all these things and give you all the glory through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right, we'll go to adoption of the agenda. Mr. Flora, is there any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to adopt the agenda as submitted.
I second that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Purdock and a second by Councilman Kramer. We'll go to voting.
Aye.
Here we go. Madam Clerk, would you read the results, please?
Motion passes with a unanimous vote of the council.
Very good. We go to presentations of February adoptable dogs. I understand Chief White, you want to address this issue?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, and members of the public. Tonight, we had a switch over in the police department this week, so Sergeant Snyder was promoted from the Investigations Bureau Supervisor to Acting Lieutenant, and then we did a swap, so he will be leading the Support Services Division, which oversees the animal care and control. And Lieutenant Hobbs has been regularly giving you the update, has transitioned over to operations. So I did want to recognize Lieutenant Hobbs for his efforts. I think we all know how much he's put into this program to get us where we are today. And I think it's set up on a good transition for Lieutenant Snyder to take over. So with that, Lieutenant Snyder will come up and present the report.
I want to, Mr. Snyder, you have big shoes to fill here with Mr. Hobbs have done an excellent job.
I don't know. I think his shoes look pretty big there.
Oh.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, members of the council. So for the animal care and control statistics, I'm going to be presenting to you at our normal meetings. So for January 1st to current date, 2/17, the shelter took in 55 dogs. Of the 55 dogs, 45 have left the shelter. 28 of the dogs went to out-of-county rescues and various rescues. 10 of the dogs were returned to their owners. 7 were sent to adoptions or to new families. And then 1 dog was euthanized. We have a live release rate currently at 98.2%.
Well done.
All right, thank you, sir.
And do we have a dog coming in here? I see Charmaine there.
Yes, sir. We have Charmaine waiting outside. Charmaine, why don't you come on in, please?
He's a little nervous, so we're just gonna take it slow.
He doesn't have to speak.
Actually, he knows how, that's why I brought him.
Good boy.
Look at that face.
Would you like me to do that while you stand there with Edgar? Or?
Mayor Clerk,
Yeah.
I'm glad, you're probably glad you're not sitting here.
We're going to switch sides here, and I'm going to help out Charmaine tonight and represent her real quick. So the dog we're looking at tonight, his name is Edgar. Oh, Edgar can see himself in the camera. Edgar is about 1.5 years old. He is a male. He is a mixed breed. He is currently neutered. His vaccinations are all current, and he has a microchip. He enjoys riding in cars and playing fetch. He knows how to sit and speak. Charmaine was able to do it outside, but I don't know if he seems a little excited, so. All right. If anybody has any further information, if they could please contact the Clearlake Animal Control Shelter staff at 707. It's a good boy, Edgar. At 707-273-9440. Or to see Edgar in person, you can visit the Clearlake Animal Shelter, located at 6820 Old Highway 53 in Clearlake, Monday through Friday from 12 to 4 by appointment. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
report. Thank you.
Great.
Way
Thanks,
better
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Charmaine.
Probably like an American bulldog and some kind of.
Good looking dog. All right, we'll go to the next item on the agenda is presentation of a proclamation declaring February 2022 as Black History Month. Whereas in February 2022, in the city of Clearlake, California, the Lake County branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, is officially celebrating Black History Month, which dates back to 1926, when Dr. Carter G. Woodson set aside a special period of time in February to recognize the heritage and achievements of Black American. And whereas, while the history of Black American is also the story of countless nameless heroes brought to our shores who endured lives of bondage and oppression, the deprivation of the civil rights and ravages of bigotry and racism, it's a history for which most of the chapters have yet to be written, as Black American contribute to the American promise. And whereas for generations African Americans have strengthened our nation by urging reforms, overcoming obstacles, and breaking down barriers. And whereas visionary leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, Medgar Evers, Viola Liuzzo, Elia Cummings, African American military veterans, and the NAACP have been at the forefront of protecting voting rights of the people of color in this country, and continue addressing voter suppression, gerrymandering, and urging the passage of the John Lewis Voters' Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act will ensure all citizens' right to vote are protected under the United States Constitution. And whereas the Lake County branch of the NAACP is dedicated to the principle of fostering civic, economic, and educational programs and social justice throughout the city of Clearlake, and is dedicating to encourage reflection on the rich history and teachings of African Americans, and bearing witness to the progress, beauty, and achievements they have made throughout our community. Whereas it is fitting that we set aside this month as a special time to acknowledge this important segment of our community. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the city of Clearlake encourages all citizens to join in celebrating the diversity and character of our community and highlighting the importance of sharing our culture, custom, and tradition with those around us. Dated February 17, 2022, signed by me, Dirk Slotin, as mayor. Richard, would you come up and receive this proclamation? And maybe you have something to say. That would be awesome. There you go, sir. With all, thank you, all respect. You have something to say?
Can I pull the mic off?
You don't need to hold it very close. He's got it turned up.
Alan, this wasn't a solo event this evening. Anyway, members of the city council, we've been doing this a long time. It's been almost 30 years this time now that the city of Clearlake has been recognizing February as Black History Month. We started this 30 years ago, and you guys are still going strong. You look around our community and you can see all the diversity here. And actually, our community stands out, and should stand out in the whole state of California as one of the communities in the state of California that recognize diversity. With that, I'm going to introduce my first Vice President, Ken Bagby, and then there's Bessie Bell, co-founder and treasurer, and then there's Catherine, she's a member of the branch as well. Ken, you want to say something?
Well, I'd like to say Black history is American history. So when we say our history, we're talking about American history. So, and when we say history, we look back as the forward to doing better. It's just the basis for moving forward so we can look forward to a better day. So I think we got a really great neighborhood, great people, not much diversity, but we're really on the ball. You want to say something, Ms. Bell?
Yes. Well, I'm an old timer here, and I worked very hard on a lot of committees here when the city first began. So I seen it come up from a long ways from the time I moved here. I guess that was, what was it, 1997? No, 97. 97. And anyway, I seen it grow up from like a little just a place I used to come up here and go fishing from San Jose. But what I'm very proud of, like I told the chief earlier out there, I see our city is really growing, looks good, you're doing a good job, and I'm very proud of my police department. I've seen some changes since Mr. White has been over it, and I like what I see. He is a good chief. I hope we can just keep him on. And I also have an old friend up there, Joyce Overton, and Mr. Purdock. But anyway, keep the good work up. And if I may be an old lady, but if you need me, I'm here. And
Don't be surprised if we call on you.
okay.
I'd just like to thank the city of Clearlake for recognizing all these years and uplifting us in this community. It's just a blessing. I thank my godfather, my godmother. Thank you too. And everyone who came to participate in this. Thank you so much, and God bless you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go on to a presentation of a proclamation declaring February 2022 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. Whereas Teen Dating Violence and Awareness and Prevention Month reflects our community's growing understanding that violence within relationships often begin during adolescence. And about 1 in 3 teens report being the victim of verbal, physical, emotional, or sexual violence. Whereas modern efforts to address teen dating violence must include the realities of today's youth. Digital tools like cell phones, social networking sites, and access to online games or entertainment play major roles in a teen's life. But they also allow predators to access teens, and often it's under the radar of caregivers and safe adults. And whereas prevention of teen dating violence includes reducing the stigma and silence around the issue, and providing safe spaces for discussion and education around healthy relationship, communications, and life skills. Whereas teen dating violence is a community problem, prevention includes support from the entire community, and increasing awareness provides an opportunity for more community members to come together and discuss teen dating violence in our community and work towards solutions. Now therefore it be proclaimed that the month of February 2022 is designated as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in Clearlake, and our community is urged to support the efforts of the agencies assisting victims of teen dating violence and to increase their involvements in efforts to prevent teen dating violence, thereby strengthening our communities and creating an environment which honors, nurtures, and protects all members of every family. Dating February 17th, 2020, signed by me, Mayor Dirk Sloten. Is there somebody that's going to be accepting this proclamation, Madam Clerk?
We have Sherry Young with Lake Family Resource Center on Zoom to
All right.
accept. Go ahead, Sherry.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi there. Good evening, everyone. This is Sherry Young. I can't see you all, but I can hear you and you can hear me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. This is Sherry. I'm the Victim Services Program Director here at Lake Family Resource Center. And I first just want to thank you for the space to allow this awareness to happen. Dating violence is much more common than people think, especially among teens and young adults. So this year's national theme for Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month is to talk about it. So talk about it it's a call to action pretty much to the youth or any adult, and encourages communications and conversations about what healthy relationships are, or even unhealthy or abusive relationships. And this month-long push, it focuses on advocacy and education, simply about how to stop dating abuse before it starts. And that's exactly what our teens need to talk about right now and be aware that this exists. And also just to prevent it from continuing on into early or young adulthood. So talking about it is the first thing that we need to do. And I appreciate being invited to speak tonight and would like to thank you for taking the time talking about it and proclaiming February as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any additional comments from the council on this? If not, we go to public comment. This is the time for any member of the public to address the city council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the council or staff to discuss issues brought forth under public comment. The council cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on the next available agenda. Please note that comments from the public will also be taken on each agenda item, and comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have anybody in the public here that wants to address the council? If not, is there anybody on Zoom that wants to address the council, Madam Clerk?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we'll move on to item number G, the consent agenda. Anybody want to pull an item on the consent agenda? Oh, no, we open it to the public. Anybody from the public wants to pull an item? If not, we'll bring it back to the council. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes, you may, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kramer and a second by Councilwoman Overton.
Aye.
All right.
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Great, thank you. We'll go to item number 10. Mr. Flora, could you introduce this item, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So this item we're asking the council to amend an existing consulting agreement with Margotich Sutter Equities. So this is related to the former airport property, Pierce Field. As you're aware, over the past couple of years, we've been putting a lot of efforts into development of that property. And as things have went along, we've been working with Mr. Shima for a while, and he brought in Mr. Margotich and some other partners, and they've been talking to us about possibly stepping in as the master developer of this overall project. The way we decided to move forward was initially through a consulting contract to help kind of integrate them into the things that we've already been working on, allow them to start working on attracting additional possible tenants to the site. So we started that in January. We're about a month and a half into that. It was a 60-day agreement. I feel like things are going well. They're interested in continuing to move forward with us. So what we'd be asking the council with this amended agreement would be essentially another 60 days. So it would give us through the end of April. And the idea is that if we feel like the relationship is still bearing fruit and they have interest in moving forward, that before the end of April, we would come back to the council with some type of purchase agreement or option agreement for the council to consider, essentially turning the project over to their team to complete development in partnership with the city. So that's kind of where we are. Mr. Margotich and Mr. Cheemer are here. I think they'd just like to say a few words to the council, and then I can address any questions you may have about the agreement.
Please.
Good evening. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. So on behalf of my partner, Amber Chima, and two other members of our team, Bill Bernetti, who's a local businessman in the Clearlake area, and Steve Edwards, who's a broker pretty much specializing in retail that we're working with. So we're really excited, and we appreciate the opportunity. We've had a really great relationship thus far with Mayor Slutin and Alan Flora, been very accommodating and introducing us. So we feel like we've got a really good opportunity to see this to fruition. A lot here, but I applaud the city for the fortitude to move this thing forward, to commit investment dollars, which will make a huge difference in turning this project around into fruition. So if you have any questions, or Amber, if you want to say anything, we're here to answer questions or whatever you'd like. Yes, sir.
Yes, I have a question. You've obviously had an opportunity to look at the design work that has been done already on it. How do you feel about that basic design?
Well, as anything, they always seem to change, but you have to start somewhere. So we're confident in the consulting firm that you've hired. They're very capable, very competent, a lot of experience. We've had conversations with them. We've exchanged information. They provided some documentation that we had not had up to date. Some of the details, nuances of that are important are scaled drawings, which they provided us at least a part of, because there's around where the intersection is, it's really important to know really what those dimensions are, if they can accommodate the uses that have been proposed.
18th Avenue?
18th Avenue down there,
Okay.
yeah. So, so far, but if, I've been doing this a long time, not that I look that old, right? But these things, they evolve and they change, but you have to start somewhere. And so we'll see how it goes. It's really a user-driven, tenant-driven project. And so as we attract users, merchants, businesses, what have you, professionals, hopefully practitioners in various businesses, we'll see, what what takes place, but it's really dependent on the users, if that makes sense.
I don't suppose you have any, want to reveal any of the users you're thinking of?
This isn't the appropriate forum to talk about those at this
Yeah, so
point.
it's kind of
Thought I'd throw
preliminary.
that out there anyway.
No problem.
No.
If I were you, I'd probably ask too.
Yes, I ask pretty much every week.
Okay, yeah.
And any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Amar.
Appreciate it.
Greg, thank you. All right. Any more questions from staff on this? If not, we'll open it to the public. Any public comment on this? I don't see anybody in Zoom land, Madam Clerk.
There are no hands raised in the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the council. Any questions more from the council? Councilwoman Overton.
Yeah, let's just get some clarification here. So, we're wanting to extend it for another 60 days, and then they want an option to purchase. Am I correct on that?
Well, that's the overall goal from their side, and assuming that we like what they're bringing to the table and how they're approaching things, and that would be kind of the next step, either purchase agreement or some type of option agreement. And so I think at this point, that's the goal from both sides, is to feel comfortable. They're going to need to feel comfortable with the market and what we're bringing to the table, and we think that they're, aggressive enough and have the resources to make it happen, that type of stuff. And so we're hoping to be at that point at the end of April, and we would bring an agreement
But we're
back.
basically paying them to hopefully they get to that point. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, we're paying them a small fee for their time, and kind of, it takes a lot there's a lot of catching up. We've actually done a lot over the last couple of years, and so they've been spending the last, month meeting with everyone that we've been talking to, and, the architecture firm that we hired and our engineering team and all that stuff. And so, yeah.
So I'm assuming that because we're paying them now, that any information they get, we have copies of everything.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're just sharing all of our information with them at this point. They haven't created any new product,
If they
really.
do,
But
then
yeah.
then we get that in case on future it doesn't go their way or something, we'll have documentation of whatever they did. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Just clarifying.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Right. Any more questions for staff? I entertain a motion.
Want to ask the public?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Mayor, I put forth a motion to amend the consulting agreement with Margitech Sutter Equities for an additional 60 days through April 30th, 2022.
Second.
Give a motion by Councilman Kramer and a second by Vice Mayor Purdock.
All those in favor?
All in favor, say.
Aye.
That says over there.
Motion passes with a unanimous yes vote of the council.
All right. Thank you, Amar and Greg, for, at least there's a face for everybody.
Thank you for coming.
All right, we'll go to item number 11. Consideration of the sale of a vacant land located at 3578 Redwood Street. Mr. Flora.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So the city has had a lot of lots around town. We've been acquiring a few here and there, but trying to get rid of as many as possible. So we, went through the state process, which you talked about, for surplus lands a while back, and we have listed pretty much all of the single-family lots that we currently own. So we've got interest on some of them. This one here, we've went back and forth on offer and counter offer that they've accepted, and we think it's a fair deal, and should result in a new single-family home being built on this property on Redwood Street. So just asking for authorization to execute a sale agreement on this property. So let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions for
Yeah, does the sale agreement then require them to build a single-family home, or is there any
No.
requirement?
No.
Just they'll buy it and do it,
Okay,
so
yeah,
they
Vice
can't
Mayor
flip
Murdock.
it, in other words? They could do that as well?
They could flip it, yeah.
I was just curious if this is in pursuant to SB 9 requirements.
SB 9, I'm not familiar with that. I mean, yeah, technically it would be subject to
Multiple dwellings.
every lot in the city
Everyone.
almost, so.
Councilman Claffey.
I'd like to echo Councilmember Kramer's thoughts. Is there, maybe not for this agreement, but future sales that we could compel an actual home being built rather than just flipping the lot and having it sit there?
We could, I mean, I'm not sure that's, I don't know how effective of a negotiation strategy that may be, but, you know, you could give direction to put some requirement in a sale agreement that we want a commitment for them to build on it within a certain period of time.
Mr. Jones, you seem to be attentively watching those comments. Did you have anything to add to that?
What I would add is that you can add deed restrictions. I was just watching to make sure we weren't saying there's anything that we legally couldn't do. But I understand Mr. Flores' point. I think if you have a lot of deed restrictions, a part of it, you're gonna limit your pool of people who are willing to buy it. But we could do that. I think that's the council's direction.
Well, I think the goal is to, if, by selling these lots, is to have them build homes on them, correct? I mean,
Yeah.
if they don't do anything, then the city either sits on an empty lot or they sit on an empty lot. At least we still have control.
But
When you're buying a lot, though, you kind of want to do what you want to do with it, if it was me.
Yeah, but if you're buying from the city and the city has a vision of a single-family home or any type of building on there, I think, you know, we have the ability, whether it's to offer it at a lower price than market value, but still get what we want. I feel like we've done that with other properties in the city. Why are we overlooking that on these lots?
Okay, I have one question. Was there an existing structure on this plot before?
Not that I'm aware of.
So does it have a sewer and a water connection?
I doubt it.
At least it comes out of the city, and somebody's.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we have
somebody's gonna
dozens of
pay some
lots
taxes
that
on
we're
it, so-
paying, you know, vegetation maintenance and all that stuff on all of them. And then, of course, there's no property tax generation when we own it. So, I mean, yeah, there's pros and cons. I mean, so most of these we're making available through the homestead program that, you know, if people wanted to choose the lot and participate in the homestead program, then we would have restrictions. But, you know, that's taken us a little while to get going. I think the application's ready to go out on that probably the first week of March. So hopefully we get interest there, but, you know, it's kind of a maintenance burden on us, and, you know, we have so many, we're just trying to see if we can get them out there and get someone interested in building.
Was this
Councilman
gentleman,
Kramer, go ahead.
was this gentleman made aware, or lady made aware of the homestead program?
I don't believe so.
All right, no other questions at the moment. We'll open it up to public hearing. Do you have any comments from the public here? Anybody on Zoom, Madam Clerk?
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the council. Can I have are we asking for a motion here? Yes.
Make a motion that we authorize the sale of vacant land located at 3578 Redwood Street and allow the city manager to move forward.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Vice Mayor Purdock and a second by Councilman Kramer. We'll go to our voting.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, what's the results of our votes?
Motion passes with the unanimous vote of the council.
All right, we go now to city managers and council member reports.
So we have one more item, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry. The discussion and possible action regarding voter initiative number 21-0042A1, Taxpayers Protection and Government Accountability Act. Yes, this is an item. Adam, Mr. Flora, could you take this item?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So this is a particularly concerning voter initiative that is being proposed for the ballot. I mean, they have to go collect signatures and all that, I believe. But this is a slightly bad one that received so much pushback that they still of such concern. Action that's being requested by the League of Cities. Normally, just a letter that's requested from the mayor, cities to adopt this resolution. Every jurisdiction in the state of California to be more than us at this point, but it's focused on additional fees and other changes, more upfront work and then verification. The initial thing would require voters and take the local control of away, whole litany of issues. Fees that we have in place, and then it's hopefully you've had a chance to do, for example, with Measure P properties would require us to go back on the ballot and have the voters into allowing us to collect in that area, which is just extraordinarily you know, I don't know every ramification of this. So hope we had a chance to look at it, but we certainly opposition is something that the
Council. Vice Mayor Purdock.
And receive that control is at the state?
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways. I mean, as far as the tax measures, you know, I mean, I guess it's the Department of a lot more authority on what gets presented. I mean, there are measures, but this would be retroactive in some measures, qualify them and require that those jurisdictions, you know, it's that every year erodes more and more of our local control that are doing the same thing, but for their benefit in this case. So,
If not, well, go ahead.
Specific names of those large corporations and the special. I couldn't find them either.
Any public comment? Either here or...
There are no hands raised on the Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
We'll bring it back to the council.
Mr. Mayor, number 202209, and read it by title. Clearlake opposing voter initiative 21-0042.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion by, we'll go to our voting.
Aye.
Did you read the result?
This is with the unanimous vote of the council.
And council member report.
Yeah, that I think you're aware of, we talk about frequently tonight.
Councilman Craig.
Reading it is. I stood in for council member management council meeting. I got a few the council specific actions that was announced. The annual report presented by probably presented to the county. Supposed to have been done in December, February. That on that, APC LTA will go around update. I still have with them with regard to some projects that they haven't done. And then Lake Links, we've had several meetings in the last couple of weeks. Was on an extended maternity leave that started a little early. Right in the middle to submit our 50 applications. So we've had to scramble around in our meeting weekly to make sure that things are going the way we.
Right. Councilman Claffey, anything?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we had our marketing committee meeting this week. Talked about a lot of see here. I have them on a strict marketing campaign trajectory. So this summer. Also at a PEG TV meeting to ramp up our membership data. That organization to more so that between that sites and YouTube pages, trying to expand. And then finally, sort of a subcommittee of the Visit Lake County countywide marketing group. We are bring and just exploring all the to, of course, I think I mentioned this last time, is have real we're having good conversations, so that's it.
Okay, well, marketing committee, I was at. Thank you, Councilmember Kramer, for attending the Clean Water Safety Traffic Committee. We talked about some of the crosswalks and maybe some places that might need some stop signs. We talked about the schools, and so hopefully those are things that we can start working on and making our traffic a little safer in some of these areas. Some of our crosswalks up there are dangerous, and I think we're going to start looking at those. So I really and help designating some of the areas we feel were detrimental to our community. So I appreciate looking into those and seeing what we can do.
Well, Councilmember Kramer and Councilmember Overton have covered my so I have nothing yet to report.
Earlier today, our new congressman visited us, and Mr. Mike Thompson, and we kind of showed him what stuff we have going on. I think he was very impressed. We talked about, you know, our harbor and all those items that he is willing to help with anything that he can do, and I'm gonna have to listen to me if there is. Any do-overs? I don't see any. Good. We move on to future agenda items. Anybody has any future agenda items? If not,